Hi, I'm Tom Makau. I'm an energy specialist based in Kenya. I look at what happens in the power sector in Kenya and maybe give advice to companies on the future of the power industry in Kenya.
And Tom, since we spoke last time,
yes,
a large number of projects have come on stream
yes.
with more power. So what's happened on the supply side of the equation?
Okay, I think a lot has happened thanks to the government ambitious plan to inject about 15,000 megawatts of power into the grid.
Yeah.
This was a plan to avail 15,000 megawatts within 2 years into the grid, which depending on who you ask, some people think that that's counterproductive because there will be no demand for that power, while some people think that the availability of that power will create a demand. So we are yet to see what's going to happen. See
which comes first, chicken or egg?
Exactly. But in my opinion, I think power generation being a very capital intensive investment, we need to be very careful in how we invest in the power in this country, because any mistakes we make in terms of investments will be passed on to the customer, and that is where the danger lies. These companies cannot make losses.
And which power projects have come on stream that are now adding to the available supply?
Yes, we've had the geothermal. Recently, our president opened up a new geothermal power plant, which injected about 280 megawatts of power into the grid. With that came the promise that the cost of power, the per unit cost of power will come down, but that is yet to really reflect in the consumer bills.
Yes. You were saying that they've gone up a great deal.
Actually, they've gone up to 60%, and for various reasons. In as much as this power was injected into the grid, you had power bills increase up to 60%, with a large component of that being the fuel cost adjustment, which is brought about by one, an expected increase in use of thermal power plants, and also the exchange rate, the forex exchange rate, where the shilling has been losing value to the dollar. I think right now it's lost about 30% of value to the dollar. So that has put pressure on on the bills. Excuse me, on the bills that customers pay. The way I look at it is that it would have been worse had we not had these 280 megawatts injected.
And is there more coming from the geothermal?
Yes, there's more. There's a lot of work going on in the geothermal area, which is around Nakuru. There's also, other than geothermal, other sources of green energy like wind power. I think
there's a project on Lake Turkana.
Yes, Lake Turkana wind power project, which is expected to pump in about 310 megawatts into the grid. There's a lot of progress. The president was there the other day opening the project. There's a lot of civil works going on to set up the plant and the distribution network. So we are very optimistic that that is going to change things. My only reservation with that project is the nature of contracts, which seem to favor the power generator more than the government. But we're yet to see how that is going to play out once they actually agree and pump in the first megawatt into the grid.
On the demand side of the equation, demand has actually gone up. What's it gone up from to, and why is that happening?
Yes, the good news is that the demand has increased, and that is directly related to the economic activities that are happening. Again, it's a chicken and egg situation. Will more power improve the economy, or will the economy lead to a demand of more power? So there has been an increase from about a demand of about 15 megawatts to about 2,100 at the moment. We are currently
1,500 to 2,000.
Yes. We are currently generating about 2,300 megawatts into the grid. So I think we're in a good position. with the new projects that are coming in on the green side of things, that is wind and geothermal, the cost is bound to come down. But then again, what we are seeing in the market is there is a lack of a clear direction as to what the government wants to do to reach this target of 15,000 megawatts. On the demand end, I think the government is heading the right direction, because one of the biggest barriers to accessing electric power was the cost of connection. So it was about $300 per homestead, and that assumes that you are within a short distance to the transformer. That cost has been halved thanks to a project which the government is running with the World Bank, where the World Bank gave the government about $250 million. So what we are seeing now is that people who could not afford connectivity are now able to afford it, because this reduction to about $150 is also good in that the payment plan is also spread out over a long period of time.
And you pay it with your bill?
Yes, you pay it with your bills. You don't need to pay an upfront of $150, which could be a lot of money for most families earning $2 a day. Yes.
But they're also grouping customers together, so they're saying, we'll connect you if...
Yes. What's happening is that this project where people are paying 15,000, communities are asked to pull together and make one application as a group of people. Let's say a certain village with 10 households are all told to apply at once. That again will justify why the power distribution company should come and supply power to that area, because there are a large number of applicants. That's one way of lowering the cost of connectivity. Yes.
And finally, what's happening on the distribution side? Because that becomes now, if you like, the weak point, doesn't it? As both demand and supply come into sync.
Yes.
It's whether you can get the power there, whether it's reliable.
Yeah, the other thing is that this grant by the World Bank to the government also involves modernizing the distribution network. There is actually ongoing work in terms of improving the power distribution network. If you drive around Nairobi and Kenya for that matter, you'll see a lot of work going on in terms of improving the distribution network, in terms of resilience, and also modernizing the equipment. What you need to know is that some of Kenya Power's equipment is pretty old and pretty dated, and therefore inefficient and unreliable. So with this improvement of the distribution network, what we are going to see is that not only will the distribution of power grow, but it will also be more stable.
Yeah.
And that's what people look for when looking for power supply.